Well, hello everyone. Hi, Unlimited Wisdom community and family. I love you. Thank you so much for jumping on here, Mike, Dustin, Deborah, and Nanette, brother Bill, and of course Matt and family. I'll just do that. Hi, Mary. Great to have you on here. Hi, Sandy, and of course the hostess with the mostest, Craig Jackman. Hi, Melody. Great to have you guys on here. Well, as you can see, I'm not dressed up as the doctor. All right. So my goal was to do that. And something happened this morning. I got up this morning. I was really focused and everything was going awesome. And then all of a sudden, I had a dear friend of mine call me. And we needed to talk about a bunch of stuff. And so I was glad that I took that call. So that was a few hours, and we talked about all kinds of stuff, including some of the good stuff that will consistently show. And so I'm not the doctor, but I do have something. I always have something to share with you guys. And let me see here. Hi, Lisa Marie. Hi, Scott. And Craig, I don't remember if Matt shared, there was something that sort of startled me today, and I wanted to share that with you. And I don't know, Matt, if
Was it one of the videos that you
yeah, it
shared?
was it was about the teachers.
Yep, it's in the Hollis family chat.
Okay, so let me click on this, and I'm going to share this with you guys really quick because I think that we can really just jump off of that. And
Absolutely.
I think you
You got
guys,
it?
I think that we can definitely talk about it. Here we go. Can you guys see it?
Yes, we see
Yep.
it.
Okay,
Make sure
let's
Go
see.
that
ahead and
you
you'll have to unmute it and then full screen it before you play it.
Okay, got
I
it.
ultimately decided to leave.
and then make sure you have the setting too
Did the
that
did
everybody
the
can hear.
full
Nope, I
did the
can hear
full
it.
Okay,
did
then
the
we're
full
good.
does the full screen work?
Yep, looks good.
Looks like it.
All right, cool.
What are you going to do when they're all gone? Watch this.
I ultimately decided to leave because I realized I needed an easier job.
No matter what I try to do, it won't go through their heads.
Called a parent today and I said, just to let you know, your child has an F in my class because they come in and they don't do anything and then they start screaming. She hung up.
Buddy, why'd you struggle on this quiz? What was hard about it? What was difficult? And they look me dead in my eyes and they say, I'll be honest, I didn't read the passage. What do you mean you didn't read the passage?
School districts are trying to run like companies with the numbers, and it's not the science of education.
Today I walked out of my job. I did.
I have 2 hours left of my school day and I'm leaving because I'm so stressed out. And the students' behavior, their lack of trying, their apathy for school, parents that don't give a shit.
I was getting so many questions after I just explained my directions.
Take out your yellow notebooks, turn to page 14, and the kids just stare.
They're crying because they're getting blamed for literally any and everything that children are doing.
I spend 90% of my day managing kids' emotions, helping to regulate them, managing outbursts and behaviors and tantrums.
I spend so much time managing behavior that sometimes I feel like I'm failing as an educator. I feel like I'm not doing the job that I was hired to do.
That was a 1 hour rabbit hole that I went down watching these videos and just feeling my heart rate go up. And I get DMs and emails from teachers all the time saying, do you have any words of wisdom? I've always wanted to be a teacher, but this job is not sustainable. Here's what my administration did. What should I do? I called home and this was the reaction I got from a parent. What should I do? I did X, Y, and Z in my class and none of the kids were paying attention. What should I do? I don't know. I try to give the best advice I can. All of the stopgaps in place to amend this behavior and this cycle are gone. And it's being put on the teachers. What are you going to do when more and more teachers are added to this ever-growing teacher shortage crisis? During COVID, teachers were heroes. You all saw what it was like. Oh my God, how could you do that? I couldn't do that day after day. Do you want to homeschool? Do you want your kids to go to schools that don't have certified teachers? Or do we want to encourage the best and the brightest to get their teaching certification, to get that education, to teach your children to the best of their ability? What do you want? If you want something, administrators, parents, anybody who's involved in a school, you have to act on this or it will all be gone.
What do you guys think? I can tell you what I think, but what do you guys think? Because you want me to share with you what I said? As soon as I watched that video, I said, wow, adults are the same way. You guys have heard me over the last few years go, it doesn't make a difference if I teach people to do something. They don't give a shit. They won't do it. They don't pay attention. So what does adults and kids that are currently going through school, what do they have in common right now? Social media. Social media. And you guys know I just did a video on who you hang around. So if people are using social media so much, yeah, the last 2 days, for whatever reason, right around 6 o'clock, I don't remember ever being exhausted as I currently am in the last 2 days. And that's not me. That's not me. I get a little thing through about 3 o'clock. And if it's too much, I'll just meditate, listen to Washed by the Word for an hour, and I'm wide open. And I have so much energy. And the last few days, around 3, I go into this little law, but then I'm just exhausted by 6. And in my morning walk this morning with Dex and Leo, I just straight out ask. I mean, I think all my neighbors know I'm crazy because I'm walking and have my arms in the air and I'm worshiping and I'm just, going nuts. And I just right in the middle of it, I just asked and I said, why have I been so tired? And it was just like I got kicked right in the forehead. And it's like you can't be watching bombs drop on people. You can't watch bombs drop on people and not have that affect who you are as a human being. And I went, shit. Because we do know how fucking important it is to pay attention to what's going on, right? Hi, Beth. Welcome to the family. Nice to have you on here. Hi, Scott. And I went, man, came home most of the time up until 3. The TV's never on. The only time the TV's on is Terry comes down when she gets up, feeds the boys. And from about probably 7:15 to 8 o'clock before we go for a walk. And then when she comes home after the walk and we get home, then she goes, takes a bath and starts her day. And I shut the TV off. But since she's not been here, I was like, well, I normally got the TV on, so why not just see how everyone's killing each other? That's not the way I thought or what I said. So I'm just sharing that with you guys. So you probably can see, and so I'm just like going, wow, the energy that I had this morning. And I was like just wired and I'm like all excited and ready for the day. And then a friend in need needed to reach out to me. And I'm so glad that I was there for him. And while we were talking, I went, March 6th. Oh my God, this would have been our 8th anniversary for MDC. Terry and Mai's 8th anniversary for MDC. And so it was interesting that when I realized that I was talking to, you know what I mean? And so we went through a lot of stuff, and he was saying, man, he just was like going, there's so much weird going on right now. He goes, do you know how many professionals I know in this industry? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but owns a company that does the back office and merchant accounts for other network marketing companies. And he's got a lot of them. So he makes money off the merchant account for these companies. So he knows a lot of leaders, but he also knows a lot of company owners. And they're like, wow, you reach out on social media and it's like everyone's just paralyzed right now. Why would you think that people would be paralyzed? I don't know. Maybe it's a little bigger deal than everybody wants to make it out to be, right? It's like we all think we're probably okay, but, are we? And usually when stuff like that happens to me, it just makes me lean in harder to the amount of time that I spend reading the Bible, the amount of time that I spend praying, the more time that I spend listening to things to get me core and centered so that I can be the best family member and friend to you guys as I can. So I want people to come on here and go, doesn't make a difference what's happening on the news or what's happening in the world. Let me plug into my Unlimited Wisdom family and have Robert again tell me that this too will pass, that everything's okay. And I even had to share this with, and was going, you're so confident. And I go, listen, we're about ready to go into the best 10 years of our lives. Now, not just because I'm saying that to you. I am saying to you that the next 10 years can be the years that were the best years of your life. Because just like everything that happens in the world, there's these people out there that talk about this crazy stuff. I don't know anything about it, so you guys will laugh when I bring it up. But how many of you guys have heard these people saying, there's plural universes? You know what I mean? There's multi-dimensional. So we're like a 4-dimensional thing. How many people have heard this? And you got these guys that say, listen, if you take this certain kind of mushroom, and then we put this laser on a wall, and then if you walk up and look into the laser while you're on mushrooms, you can actually see the stuff that's happening in Matrix, the ones and zeros going all over the place. And I'm going like, so was it the laser, the wall, or the mushrooms? I'm going like, hey, I used to feel pretty confident when I would, have a couple of double crowns on the rocks, there was like, I actually believe I can still do things that I did in my 20s and 30s. And then I find out that that's not true. So that's why I stopped drinking. You know what I mean? It's like, but I hope that this is entertaining for you guys. I wanted to, again, it was from my heart, and I see that Craig put it in featured, but becoming who you hang around, and there's a character, you guys know I'm going to start doing characters. And one of the characters that I'm looking forward to do is the prisoner. I know that Melody Ryba talks about that being one of her favorite. And I get to have a little more expertise from that kind of mindset. Because for those of you that don't know, when I was 18, I just moved to a new high school. And I thought the best way to to really, really build friends is what if I threw a party? My birthday's on February 21st, and it was a senior year. And I thought, wow, I'll throw a big party. So what I did is a common mentality of people, no, you become who you hang around. And I thought, wow, I'll go to a beer warehouse and I'll steal a couple of kegs, and that's what I'll have the party with. And so I went there and broke into this warehouse. They didn't have any kegs, but they had semi trucks. And so when I opened up the back of one of the semi trucks, it was full of beer. Well, you can't move the beer from the warehouse. So I just told a couple of friends of mine, let's just open up the door and I'll drive the 18-wheeler and we'll take it to a nice house, a nice farm that I used to work on. And we'll drive it in a Quonset and empty it out. And so I know that you guys are going like, man, how stupid are you? It's like, but this is what I did because I wanted friends, right? And so that's what we did. And then all of a sudden, a friend of mine calls me up on the phone and he says, this Learjet, this private jet just landed in Williston, North Dakota, whopping 12,000 people maybe. And I go, well, why are you telling me that? And he says, well, the guys that got off the black jet had ATF jackets on. And for those of you that don't know all the three syllables of all these things, it's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. And I then got some new knowledge that every piece of alcohol has a number on it. And that number is attached to the case, the 6-pack that's connected to the case, that's connected to the pallet, that's connected to the truck. And so, when they busted the party, which was called Willis's Biggest Beer Bust, still in the paper. This is in 1980. Willis's Biggest Beer Bust. That's when I found out that there was a whole federal agency that took care of this. So I didn't think I would get in much trouble, but now the feds are involved. And so I ended up getting sentenced to 5 years in federal penitentiary, 3 suspended, 2 to serve. And so at the age of 18, they come and got me 3 days before my graduation. And we had one of those schools where everyone goes in the study room, the study hall at the beginning. And the sheriff showed up right before we all went to class and arrested me in front of the whole entire high school and took me away. And I got sentenced and went to prison. So I started out by saying, hey, I got this character I'm going to share with you called The Prisoner. I just wanted you to know that I got a little bit of experience. And me and Deb talked about this a little bit, which was crazy. So to think that 2 years later, I got written up in the front page of the Williston Herald again for being on the dean's list at the North Dakota State School of Science, graduating top of my class as an automotive engineer. So me and Deb were talking, there's a lot of bad things that happen to you, but don't those things sort of shape who you are? Sometimes everybody wants to go back and talk about how bad their past was. But, if you really love who you are, if you learn to love who you are, you're going to look at your entire past as, wow, thank you. Thank you. Imagine getting so much love in yourself that you look at everything that happened to you bad in your past and you go, wow, now I know why that happened. Now I know what that happened. And even a little bit of that is personal responsibility. Like all the bad things that happened to me, I could actually see the 2 or 3 decisions before that happened were not very good on my part. The thought of going to the warehouse was mine. Breaking in the warehouse was mine. Do you guys know where I'm going? Driving the semi for a class party. Those were all my ideas, right? But there's a character that I want to share with you guys. And when you understand that really we're all prisoners of our own thoughts, our own beliefs, and our own mind. And it's like when you really, really think about that, it's like what we believe really comes from other people. I talk about this all the time. It's like, hey, if every one of you think that you're smart all by yourself, why don't you sit down and write all the original ideas that you came up with? So me and Matt are super, super close. So we're talking about a little bit about all the craziness that's happening in the world. And it does make a difference where you get your information, right? And so, depending on who you're listening to and who you're doom scrolling at, you know what I mean? It's not by, I used to say this in 40 years ago, when I realized that the president of the United States always has 50% of the people in the United States that want to kill him. You guys ever notice that? And it's like, but they still give us polls, right? You know what I mean? So look at the polls. 50% of the people thinks this sucks. Yeah, let's do a poll on something else. Let's do a poll on Elton John music. You know what I mean? We can do a pretty much poll on everything. And how many of you guys are realizing that there's literally billions of people that think you're an idiot? Could they really be that far off? Well, where do they get their knowledge? How did they grow up? I know Marty probably watched the recordings, but he posted something in Unlimited Wisdom, which I thought was crazy. And it was a song by George Harrison. You know what I mean? And it was like, oh, my Lord. Oh, my sweet Lord.
The song is called My Sweet Lord, yes.
Yeah. And I started listening to it. And I went, what a song. I don't think I've ever heard this song. And I was listening to it. I was all excited. And then at the very end, it's like, Hare Krishna, Alabama. I'm like, they just start naming off every disciple and prophet on the planet. It's like, I think at the very end, they were probably just going, listen, we got to get an audience everywhere. So let's just start naming off shit. You know what I mean? Hello, Buddha. You know what I mean? I'm just like, and me, I didn't even know Hare Krishna was an organization. I'm so naive sometimes that I just put in, what's the meaning of Hare Krishna? And it's no, it's a group of people trying to sell poppies at the airport. So apparently I've never. They said that they do a little bit of chimes on their fingers. I don't know if any of you met them. I've never met a Hare Krishna. But it wasn't by accident that I went on that little tangent, right? Because if you sat down with somebody that was a Buddhist, or you sat down with someone that was a Hare Krishna, or you sit down with any group whatsoever, it is crazy, all these different perceptions that you hear from people. So me and Matt were talking, and not to get on a crazy tangent, but some of you know who Patrick Bet David is. Would you have a little different perception of what's going on if you knew your mom and dad were entrepreneurs in Iran, and then a regime came in and took it all away from them? And then because they protested that they got everything taken away from them, they were going to be shot and jailed. So then they end up just coming to the United States. Do you think if you were old enough to watch this happen to your parents, you would probably think a little different about the regime? So I'm listening to him, and he goes, you know what really people are missing here? He goes, let me just get right to the point. You hear on the news that there were bombs dropped on the Vatican, and the Pope and all the bishops are dead. Even if you wasn't a Catholic, I think that would be a pretty big shot in the face. It's like, what? And he was going, according to the radical Muslims, the supreme leader was the next guy to Allah. I'm going, Holy shit. So the little group in there, that are being affected, it's pretty crazy, isn't it? So I just wanted to come on here to tell you again, if you're allowing things to cloud who you are, I don't believe I'm the individual that needs to tell you, listen, just don't watch that shit. Just tune out. I don't want to be the person to tell you to do that because you need to tell you to do that. I'm just saying, even it used to be called doom scrolling, but now it is really doom scrolling. If it wasn't before, so I was telling Matt, it's like, listen, I got caught up in it. As soon as I look, I find out, holy crap, Iran bombed our biggest aircraft carrier and killed everybody on it. No, that's bullshit. Then I'm like going, wait a minute, Matt already told me that a majority of the stuff that I would see on social media would be nothing but bullshit. And guess what? It just went. If you didn't believe Matt before, it's like, how many of you, any of you on Facebook or any social media, if you're doing a little bit of scrolling, how many times do you go, bullshit, bullshit, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's bullshit. And I'm going like, but I wanted to share with all of you that I love you and I appreciate you. I'm human. I'm human. And I was like, I think everybody that I know always thinks they're more mentally and spiritually stronger than they are. And so if you felt like little things are off lately, and then I showed you that thing about the teachers up front, it's like we're really, really in a weird place right now where if you ever thought about in your life when you were the most excited and the most alive, try to recall in your life when you were the most excited and most alive. And there was something happening in your life where you were 1000% focused in growth and creation. A great example for a lot of you is maybe getting married or getting a job or having a child or getting a new pet. Man, when you get a new puppy, you can't be doing much else other than watching the puppy. How many people can say yes and yes, right? And when you get a new job, your whole thing is, I'm in this probation period. I want to be the best damn employee I can be. This is all the thing I'm going to focus on, is I'm just going to focus on this. And even when you get home, you're thinking about how you can make that job better, how you can be a good employee, what could be possibly what you could do to get job advances or raises. It's like, think about the times in your life when you didn't have time to spend time on social media. Because when you're focused in a creation stage, you don't have time to be bummed out. And before we go, I wanted to give hi, Kathy and Linda. It's great to have you guys on here. Excuse me. But I wanted to say a couple of quick things. I was a little under the weather during my birthday, but I wanted to thank Mary so much. She sent me a nice little coffee cup that heats itself and a beautiful card. And I know a lot of you sent me incredible messages. So thank you so much, Mary. I love you. That was huge. And also what I want to do is give a good shout out to Bob, Coach Bob. Just 6 days in or 5 days in, and he's number one on the leaderboard with customers. So I know that Bob's been on here a number of times telling everyone, including me, that he just didn't know what he was going to do and where he's going to go. But I have so much faith and confidence and belief in Bob that when he makes a decision, he gets results pretty freaking quick. So I'm proud of you. For those of you that don't know, in a previous company, Bob's been on stage multiple times holding a plaque as the #1 customer getter. So it really makes me feel good, Bob, that you got that direction going. So now, if people want to know how to get customers, you reach out to Coach Bob. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm just contacting people like you said, Robert, that were on
what
from the past. Yeah, well, I think that works.
What you're contacting individual people?
Yeah.
You didn't get the 13 posts by posting on social media?
No.
Oh. Bummer. How many people don't want to hear that you actually have to connect with people? That sucks. You know what I mean? I'm joking, by the way. But congratulations, Coach
Thank you,
Bob.
Robert.
Man,
I appreciate all your help.
I appreciate you
help.
too.
Yeah.
And I want to close with this. I'm pretty sure that we've done a number of videos called, on connections, Craig, and unlimited wisdom. But yeah, when it comes down to where the rubber meets the road, here's what I know that it is. You need to focus on making sure that you feel good. Do the things, ask for the things yourself, God. Ask, how can I focus on something that makes me feel good? And then after you figure that out, then connect with other people that are not feeling good and tell them what you did to make you feel good. Me and are talking about this, and I just went, wow. I sat down with a guy. He showed me a $62,000 check. And I said, well, the guy that invited me down here, Sean, told me that you had it. I said, there's no way in my little mind that I can understand how you did that. And he said, well, Robert, I just have 30,000 people that are responsible for my income. You just have to speak to those that have ears to hear. A majority of the people in the world do not want to make any money. They say they do. And a majority of the people in the world want to be healthier. They just don't want to do anything about it. So you got to be willing to go through the 97% that don't want to do anything to find the ones that go, yeah, me. I've been praying for you. Me and my husband were just talking about this. I was talking about this with my sister, my mother. See, you just got to be willing to connect with people. And the way that I connect with people is by offering them something that will change their lives. Still to this date, I just seen someone that I was following, Alex Hermosi, and people ask him, what was the top 10 books? So then they asked Sam, and then they asked Andrew Kirby, that's also an owner of the company. And out of all of them writing their 10 best books, The Greatest Miracle in the World wasn't in there, and neither was The Science of Getting Rich. You know another book that wasn't in there? Outwitting the Devil. So you know how incredible it is to be marketing something where you go, hey, have you ever heard of the greatest miracle in the world? No, I haven't. That's pretty awesome. So those that connect with people, to give them a gift that causes reciprocity, when me and are talking about today, all I did all day is promote a Saturday training. And that Saturday training did nothing but promote getting them in front of a trainer that mentored me. And that's what unlimited wisdom is. So it's got a gift tab. You guys say, hey, I learned this. This is exciting. That's what you got to do. If you connect with people, I was telling Josh this today. all of you know people like me before I became an entrepreneur. I was a great frickin' auto mechanic. But that's all I knew. Everything about me was my identity with either cars, engineering, or race cars. Do you guys know anyone that's like, this is who I am, this is all I'm about? You know, when I see Mike with his Harley hat on, you know, that was the second vehicle I drove. You know what I mean? Was a motorcycle. It's like, listen, that's all I knew. And then when I got hurt and wasn't a mechanic, and now all of a sudden I'm super humbled, I met somebody that just very simply said this. And you guys hear me use it as my phrase. I say it different. But if you said to somebody, hey, Jim, if what you know that you know that you know isn't true, isn't so, when would you like to know? And my knowledge was very, very small. You know, so, you know, the little concepts that we all think are so funny, and they're not funny. It's like, listen, where does money come from? You know, do you think money grows on trees? Okay, so everyone always told me where money wasn't. I'll tell you where money isn't. Money's not in my pocket, and it's not in my freaking bank account. I don't have any money. And money doesn't grow on trees. But until I met my mentor, no one told me where money did grow. Isn't that interesting? And when you get down to the basics, which will be some of the characters I'm going to go through, it's like when someone just says this to you, well, where does money come from? If money's not growing on trees, where is the money? And people say, the IRS, the Treasury, the banks, the stock market. No. People. See, all the broke people on the planet are the ones that put the money in the bank, the money in Wall Street. See what I mean? It's like, so if people have money, you need to find a way to get them to give you the money. How do you get people to give you money? Value. If you share someone value and benefits, they'll give you their money. And they'll thank you. They'll thank you every frickin' month for connecting them to a place that they could give the money. I made millions with my mentor. And I gave my mentor millions. Gladly. Another person I reached out to yesterday, it was just totally bizarre, was Ray Higdon. And you seen the post that Ray did. So I just reached out to Ray and I just said, hey, Ray, you guys want to know what I give away for gifts as far as connection? Some of you get it. But I listened to a worship song this morning, and I do that every morning in my playlist on YouTube. And God said, you need to send this to Ray. I sent it to Ray, and Ray answered back and said, dude, I can't tell you how perfect timing that was. And I went, wow. And then he sent back a message and he goes, you do know you're the only person that does this to me. And I go, what? Just send you stuff out of nowhere, telling you that I love you and cheering you up? He goes, you're the only one. He goes, there's everyone else that sends me something has something to do with transaction. Every person that reaches out to me is transactional. He goes, you send me stuff and you don't even set me up. You could give me something and it makes me feel so good that after I said, thank you, God bless you, have a great day, you got me. You got me. You set my ass up and you don't. So I just asked him, I said, hey, what are you doing? You know, I know that you were doing this network marketing company that had something to do with Christianity or something like that. He goes, yeah, that didn't turn out very well. So I'm not doing that anymore. I go, what else you doing? He goes, same stuff. He just didn't sound like the same Ray. You know, so maybe he was contemplating to consider to evaluate. But Ray will be okay. Ray will be okay. We all will be okay. So how many of you agree with me that the next 10 years is going to be the best 10 years of your life? See, because some of you might have a lot going on in your life right now where you're going like, you know, I would just like the next 6 months to be better than the last 6 months. And guess what? I can give you guys an amen on that as well. You know, we turn it around a day at a time, a week at a time, and a month at a time. And I just know that unlimited wisdom in this family that I love. And for those of you that are not here that watch the rewind, I just, yeah, figure out the things because it's hard to find things that make us feel good all the time. But I think it was really awesome that I identified the thing that wasn't making me feel like me. And I'm not bragging here, but man, my rituals, RICH-AUL, my daily rituals are frickin' strong. Super, super, super strong. You know, between an hour of worship and an hour of wash by the word, you know, pretty close to a half hour of reading the Bible. There's probably not a lot of people that put that much in to that relationship, and not including my walk. But it didn't take much of watching people get bombed to sort of suck that out of me. So if it'll get me, maybe it's gotten you a little bit. You know what I mean? So my deal is, the way to leave you with that is I think you need to pay attention to things that you have control over. Okay? And we just watched that video with the teachers. They spend all of their time handling emotional behavior. Why are these people so disconnected? Probably the same reason adults are. So if you ask them to write a journal for 48 hours of everything they consume and not to lie, how much of that would be TV? How much of that would be the news? How much of that would be doom scrolling? So if you're not counterbalancing that with stuff that makes you feel bad versus things that make you feel good, then you're probably running neutral, if not running a little negative. Would you guys agree? It's like, man. So I love you and I believe in you. You're a miracle. You're a miracle. If no one gave you permission to be happy and successful, let me be the first. My mentors did that for me. So I love you guys and have a great, 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 great weekend. Craig?
Okay. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Robert. I mean, okay, if I may just share really quickly.
Please.
I think a lot of people also in the chat have said this. I needed this message today. Thank you.
Feels like a lot of people did.
Very much. Yeah. So
you guys need to be a part of Unlimited Wisdom. So now that a lot of people said that, how many of you would be okay with making this live video on YouTube and you guys can promote it?
It will be up as soon as I can. I promise you, and I'll post it in such a way.
You know what I thought about? You got me going, Craig. You always do. People are like always asking me, what would you use as a hook to get people? Here's the hook. Reliable friend. How many of you just want a reliable friend? So when your day sucks ass, sour owl shit, don't you just need one person that you can reach out to? And that person goes, hey, how you doing today? Awesome. Well, the reason I reached out to you is I'm having sort of a shitty day. Well, how can I make it less shitty? I think we all need to be there for each other before we try to get people to buy something. Don't you agree? Because I still get involved with companies with people that I know, like, and trust. I don't get involved because, I guess unaware people get involved with companies for other reasons. I get involved because of the person. So, Craig, thank you.
Thank you. There's a few things in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and click the three dots in the meeting chat and then click Save Chat. It'll download to your computer as we finish today's Daily Wisdom. Just a reminder, tomorrow is Ask Us Anything. You get to ask anyone in the community anything you'd like. And that starts at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern tomorrow. Sunday, Master's Mind. Great way to end the week and start the new week. Sundays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. And Monday, we get things rolling with our recess at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. So many things going on here at Unlimited Wisdom. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for being part of our amazing community. We do this because of you. We love you. We appreciate you. And we look forward to seeing you next time. So until then, please be good to yourselves. Be cash. Bye-bye. I'm going to go ahead and unmute so we can all say so long. Have a fantabulous Friday.